You are listening to Insights with Kathleen. Please join me while I share my insights and experiences with the hope to inspire you to look inside of yourself for the answers that you already have. As with all information we receive, take what speaks to you and leave the rest.
Welcome back, everyone.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Sherry.
Hey, Kathleen.
Do you know we're on episode 3
of this
season
show.
2?
Season 2, episode 3. Look at us.
We're like 23.
Yeah, we're both 23 years old. That's exactly what you meant, right?
Sure.
Sure, whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, so last week
Yeah.
we were talking about perception.
Yes, we were.
Yeah, and we were talking about everyone having their own perception.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Right? So I would like to, if you're okay with this.
Okay, let's venture in.
I would like to build on that a little bit.
Oh, it's almost like a mini series, but it's not a mini series. Think about it.
Too bad it doesn't have pictures.
Right? It's like we got the part 1 last week, part 2. That's cool. Yes, build on perception. I kind of want to see where you go with this.
So we had talked about everybody has a perception.
Yes.
And everyone's perception could be different. So like we're really looking at like this particular event that's happened, right?
Right.
And let's just say that like 3 different people had witnessed a particular event. And
yes.
if you were to talk to those 3 different people, they would have a different perspective on that one event.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because everyone comes with their own set of experiences.
Of course, yeah.
And then when you come with your own set of experience, it helps to build your perception.
Yes, that's true.
And with that experience, you also come with your own set of strengths.
I like where this is going.
Sure you know.
Yes, I do.
So, what if, as human beings,
yeah,
that we became so collaborative that instead of focusing on our own personal weaknesses, we focus on our strengths and talents, and then we have like these friend groups, if you will,
right?
And then we're able to leverage their talents and gifts and strengths, right?
Yeah,
because like I know for the 2 of us, that I come with my own set of strengths.
Yes. Yeah.
And then which are a little different than your set of strengths.
Right.
And then we kind of leverage each other in that way.
No, I like what you're talking about because I know for me, growing into myself or whatever, I always focused on my weaknesses and I'm like, I have to all around be like the best at whatever I do. So whenever I would have, going into that energy and that mindset, I would always be with people who would like bring out my weaknesses more than my strengths. And it would kind of affect the work that I do. But with us, it just feels more fluid and it just feels lighter and nicer because you are leveraging my strengths, not telling me, oh, these are things you have to improve on to be well-rounded in this field.
Right. But how much more awesome would it be if we as individuals, you as an individual, did not judge your weaknesses, but stepped into your strengths?
Well, I feel like I want to hear more about that. What do you mean by that in that perspective?
Oh, she said that word again.
That freaking, that one episode. Now we're going to
No, it's okay. So what I mean by that is that, we can spend days, weeks, hours, years, whatever order you want to put that in, beating ourselves up because we're trying to grow and improve ourselves in those areas where we feel we lack or that we're not so strong in.
Right, yeah.
So what ends up happening is you end up focusing on the lack.
Yeah,
right?
I do.
And then you start to become a little miserable and frustrated because it's like, why the frick can't I get this?
Yeah, like, why do I suck at this?
Yeah, why do I? It's here, like an example in my family, my sister is an artist, and she has a really great eye, and she's extremely talented.
Right.
Which, by the way, my daughter got too.
Nice.
Actually, both my kids did, but my daughter plays more than my son does. I can't. I just I'm not good at it.
You're like, that's not my forte.
It's totally not my forte. But I can appreciate it.
Ah, that's nice.
I can see where the great lines are, right? So every artist needs to have someone who can appreciate their talent.
That's true.
Right? So my perspective on it is that, you know, I marvel at her strength.
Right.
Her artist strength. And what I learned from it, even though I'm not good at drawing or painting,
right,
but I still learned. I didn't focus on my weakness,
right,
but I took the morsels that can add to my strengths.
Wait. Talk more about that. I mean, I'm very interested. I was interested the whole time, but I'm interested in that piece as well, of what you said.
So, my sister, when she would create these things, and especially like when she was in her early career of being an artist, right? And in painting, and I'd ask her tons of questions, and like I knew I couldn't even begin.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know, Kathleen, you just start with drawing a square, and then you draw a triangle, and then you draw a box, and then you do this, and then you make a cylinder.
Art 101,
it's all about
guys.
the cylinder. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't even draw a straight line.
That's
like, let's
fair.
just forget about the box. I can't draw the straight line. But as she's growing and I'm witnessing to the fact that, okay, that's not my niche. Mm-hmm. My niche lies elsewhere. I'm more broad. Right. I'm more of that jack of all trades, you know, kind of an individual where I can take in all of these experiences and then I can make them something of my own.
Right.
So if I leverage my strength where and one of my strengths is making connections. Okay. So then my sister's talking about art, and like I'll ask her tons of questions, like, why are you doing that, and why, you know, blah blah, and she'll go, well, you know, and this is the one that really sticks with me. And I'm sorry it's taken me so long. to get here,
no.
But thanks for bearing with me. Is that she said, you know, you always want to keep your palette to a certain amount of colors. Right. So when you're creating something, so like when we would talk about painting my house. Right. So the artist comes in and she goes, now just remember, your walls are the background to your painting.
Oh.
So basically, you know, when you're painting your house, you want to think of like, okay, so my blank canvas is going to be this color. Right. And then I'm going to layer on top of it these other elements. Right?
That's smart.
So then, you know, you paint your wall, you pick your wall color, and then you kind of want to take that theme throughout your house. So you don't want to have one room this color,
hot pink,
you know, like a hot pink, and then neon green, and then like a nice warm, you know,
burgundy,
blue, or no, blue's cool. Sorry, red or some other, you know, earth tone color or something, right? Nice warm brown, or it just kind of wouldn't flow, and you'd be like, you know, I'm in some crazy house. But if you have something that has a level of continuity that runs through the home, and then each room could have its own characteristics or have like maybe one little accent wall that's a little different, right?
Yeah.
And then again, it's about the layering the things on. So I would pick up these morsels from her strength of her artist eye and of her tutelage, if you will, knowing that I can never do what she's doing. But I was still interested that I also had like the bigger picture lens. Right. So I remember her like really getting frustrated over a portrait that she was doing for somebody for a present. Right. And she just couldn't get the nose right. The nose right on one of the people in the portrait. Yeah. And she's like, I can't do this. And she stormed out. Right. Now mind you, again, I'm going to state it for all who are listening. Yes. I am not an artist.
Are you sure?
But she went out and she was so frustrated. She was like, you just do something. Yeah. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You just want me to do something? Like, but I could see what she couldn't see because she was so close to it. Right. Because again, I have that talent. I can step back and I can see what's missing or what's needed. Right. And really all that I did is I took, because I was getting frustrated for her, like just mix the color a little differently and just do the shadow a little different color or something like that. And I did that, and it literally was one little stroke of a brush, and she'd come back in and she goes, that looks awesome. What did you do?
You know, I do get what you're saying, because you were saying a bit about like collaborating with others to boost our strengths. And I know there was a person I was friends with in the past, and like, you know, I would demo music with them, and they didn't do music. Like, they couldn't sing, they couldn't do whatever. But the biggest thing they would say is like, oh, the guitar is cool, but like, wouldn't it be cool if it did more than just strum? Like, what if you just, you know, did something else with it? So then like, I kind of was like, oh, I focused more on it. I was like, oh, that would be cool, because I don't really see many people doing it. And then I just developed like that style of guitar to be more rhythmic. So that was a really cool, just, you know, workshopping that with someone and using someone like, hey, who isn't really in that field, but because they're not, they have a different perspective on it, and it kind of helped leverage a strength I didn't know I had.
And that's a pretty awesome story to follow up, because again, it came from somebody who's like, hey, did you ever try this? And maybe they're not really good at guitar, but because they have an ear for it.
Right, yeah.
And then to articulate that to you that, hey, it would be kind of cool if it could do this. And then you're doing it.
Yeah.
Because you have the talent of being able to play guitar. That's pretty cool. So thank you. That was actually a really better example than what I was like mouthing out there.
No, but that actually helped get me to that. And you're right. I think if we focus more on like our strengths. Okay, so you said something earlier to me beforehand, but I think the biggest thing that I would struggle within myself is I have to like work on my strengths, because I even said it before, like I need to be more well-rounded. And like when I would focus on my strengths, I realized like I'm miserable. I'm not having a good time. Time is moving so slow. And then you said something afterwards. Do you remember what you said?
All right, wait a minute. So when you're focusing on your strengths,
no,
or when you're focusing on your weaknesses?
Sorry, I meant when I'm focusing on my weaknesses, it's not a fun time. And I would always wonder, I'm like, oh, why? How come I don't have the drive to get better at this? How come I'm not like focused on it? Why is time moving so slow? It's graining. And you kind of said a while back of like, I think something about like your like not resonating in that spot. Is that what you said?
I say a lot of stuff.
Oh, you did. You said it like an hour ago. She said it an hour ago, guys. I promise.
So basically, like when we focus on our weaknesses, that is something that we definitely do not really truly resonate with. Because if we resonated with it, then it probably wouldn't be our weakness, right? So the weakness is something that we're just not that good at, and that we struggle. Not to say that we couldn't get better at it,
right?
And a lot of it also depends on what is your motivation for wanting to work on it.
Right.
So, but I think then too, are we looking at the weaknesses as a level of lack?
Oh yeah.
Because
I personally wasn't with that.
Yeah. So if we look at it as a level of lack, then it just drags on, and we think we're less than.
Right.
So we're not here on the planet to feel less than. We're all meant to feel really good about ourselves.
Abundance.
Yeah, we really are. And the steward of making you feel good about yourself is you.
Yeah.
No one else.
Right.
No one else could do that for you.
Yes.
Even for, and I'm sorry, this is a little side, but even for those who are looking for someone else to bring happiness to them.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not going to work, because the only person who can make you happy is you.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a whole nother conversation.
Is that part 3 of this? It's part 3, guys.
But that is a whole nother conversation. But when we come back to, looking at, all right, this is my weakness, but I want to grow because there's aspects of that I really want to be able to do so I can do something else.
Right.
That
makes sense.
So like if you're in business, for instance, this always, it's always, and I think a lot of people feel this way. Like, so in business, like, especially when you work for a large corporation, this happens more in large corporations, where they'll have like yearly reviews, and sometimes they'll, do like your
compliment
mid-year
sandwich or something,
or your mid-year review or something like that. And it's a lot of it is about, okay, let's just see how you're working, and and give the feedback. And some employers or some managers or leaders have the philosophy of like, okay, well, I complimented you all over, now I need to find something that you need to work on. Yeah, because it needs to be fair balance here. Fair balance for everything. And I'm like, this is like really ridiculous. So maybe instead of trying for that manager to figure out or make up something or pick on them for a weakness, why not evaluate, hey, they really are doing the best ever in their job, but maybe we need to push them to maybe come up with goals to go for a position that challenges them, where then you can then say, oh, this area you need to develop a little bit more. Right. So, and yes, this is a little bit of a soapbox for me. Okay. Because I did have a role where I knew that I could have done more. Right. But it was comfortable and it worked for my life.
Right.
Because, raising my family was the most important thing to me, and I didn't need the stress of something more in my career.
Right.
And it's funny because I had a manager who had since left and then came back, and I met up with him later, like after he wasn't working for the company that I was still working for.
Right.
And exchanging some notes, and I called him out on some stuff.
Yeah.
Because he would give me my review.
Right.
But then he always would hit this one spot. And I'm like, man, I brought that to you. It's not like you discovered it. I noticed that there was an issue over here, and I brought it to you to help me work through this.
Right.
Like support me through it or work through it. And he giggled and he goes, yeah, well, I did tell you that you could be doing all this and it's really not you. And I'm like, but it wasn't me, but you still put that down in my review. And then he laughed. He goes, well, it's just because I had to put something down. I'm like, really?
Right.
So maybe it is a matter of not just in business, but even in our personal lives. Let's rethink that.
Yeah.
Let's look at that differently. Celebrate the strengths. Leverage those.
Yes.
Collaborate with others.
Right.
Who may be stronger in the areas you feel that you're not strong in. Sorry, before I get too far from this, Sherry, I'm sorry. Is where I was going to is like, I know for myself.
Yes.
I know there are areas where, especially like when I was in business, that I could definitely do better in. Mm-hmm. And I needed to do better in order to be first in class in the role that I was in.
Right.
Like details.
Yes.
I stink at details. I own it. I'm not a real detailed, like don't get me wrong. I could be detailed oriented.
Yes.
But it's not my go-to place.
Right. Like that's not, I understand.
No, but I can work at it and I have but it's taken years and years of learning to be detailed orientated.
Right.
It's not like if I'm under stress, it's not someplace I'm going to go.
Right.
When I'm under stress, I'm going to go big picture.
Oh, that makes sense. That's good.
Picture.
Honestly, just kind of learning what your strengths are, it kind of pushes you like, oh, which avenue do I want to pursue now? Or how am I going to approach this? Because I realized for me, I had the experience of making my own album. That was fun. But let me tell you what wasn't fun, mixing and mastering. And that's basically doing like sound engineering. I hate that. I hate it so much, but I was like, well, I want to be a musician. And every musician does like jack of all trades thing. I hated it. And what did I learn? I learned, wow, I like writing the lyrics of music. I like coming up with the melodies. These are things that I probably outsource. And just kind of like talking with you and saying like, hey, you don't have to be good at everything. And hey, if these areas don't resonate with you, don't pursue them further if that's, what you feel.
Right. Find somebody else who that's their wheelhouse and they enjoy and they love, because whatever product it is that you're producing, right, or creating, yes, that energy will come through.
Yes, and that happened for me when I didn't hate the first album I put out. It did its thing, but I'm like, wow, if I just like kind of let go of my ego and just like, collaborated more, that would have felt so much lighter and easier as opposed to graining and long because of the different parts I didn't want to do.
Right. And please know, I'm not saying that like if you have a weakness that you shouldn't work on developing it, right? No. If that's an interest to you.
I don't have any interest in it. I did not like it.
No, because for me, like, when I was really, really young,
yes,
I had an issue with being assertive. I was extremely passive. Right. People walked all over me. I was invisible. And sometimes that served me, because coming from trauma, sometimes you want to be invisible.
That's fair.
But there was incentive because there was this contrast that I was experiencing that I really didn't like.
Right.
So then I worked towards, how do I fix that? How do I change that?
Right.
Right. Knowing that I was not really good at being assertive, but then I went for it.
Right.
And then when I started to feel it and, venture into what I perceived.
Yeah.
Perception. What I
2 points.
What I perceived as a failing in me or
Right.
a weakness, right? Yeah. But then when I went towards it and I started practicing it, I started feeling empowered.
Right. And
right?
that's, that feels like a very big difference.
Yes. So I'm sharing that to say that, like, okay, so yes, we may have weaknesses, but there's a difference between something we're just not strong in and we really just don't like and don't want to deal with, opposed to having a weakness where it's a developmental.
Right.
Did I even say that right?
Yeah, developmental. You said it.
I felt like I tripped over my tongue and my lips like they were getting stuck. But, so there's a difference there.
Oh, yeah. The energies feel so different, too, because, just doing different things. I think for me, like, with songwriting, I'll experiment with things and like, oh, that's weird. I'm not familiar with that territory. That's not my strong point. Doing it this way as opposed to like sound engineering where I'm like, I did it, I tried it, I still hated it. But with the songwriting, I'm like, you know what, this is weird, but like I still enjoy doing it. There's still aspects that I like.
Yeah, Lily says the same thing.
And Lily the dog says the same thing.
She's like, oh yeah, me too. My weakness is I can't walk away from the purple ball. She's now dropping at Sherry's feet for those of you who can't see.
This is why we should do a video podcast.
One day, someday.
One day, someday.
All right. So what do you think about that, Cher?
I like what you're saying with that because, again, I'm still working through the whole, like, you don't have to be good at everything. And if it doesn't resonate with you and you don't like how it feels and you just know in your gut that that's not something that you want to pursue, then own it and like move on, because I'll spend so much more time on my weaknesses than I do my strengths, and then they get neglected and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could expand upon this.
Right. And so when you heard that, you heard that, hey, yeah, that may be a weakness that I don't want to struggle in, much like the producing of the music, right?
Right.
And when you heard that, how'd that make you feel? That like, hey, I don't need to do this. I can invite someone else to do it.
It feels so much lighter. It feels like carrying a backpack that's not 30 pounds. I'm like, wow, weight lifted. I don't have to do all these things. I can collaborate with different people and bring different energies together to make a product. Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
Okay. So this is going to be a little bit of a tangent for me, but I'll try and keep it short because this could be a whole nother podcast too. But let's just introduce this idea. All right. So,
yes.
So speaking to the mothers and the wives of the world.
Okay.
Right. You do not need to do it all.
Ooh.
Right. So this is another avenue for collaboration.
Right.
Let your mate, let your partner, let your husband, whatever title it is that you give that significant individual who has signed on to participate in life with you at this point in time, give them opportunity to shine their talents. And you know what? It doesn't have to be perfect.
That's like a 4th podcast. You came up with all these different episodes now. Like, I got to write these down.
Oh, and just so you all know that this season, Sherry has made it quite clear that it's really up to me to really push those topics.
Yes, because you know what? Kathleen has great topics in mind, and she sometimes doesn't share all of them. And I'm like, nah, collaboration. That's what we're doing.
All right. Well, now that you all have heard our dirty laundry, we want to thank you so much for listening. We hope that this was helpful. We do have a website that we're looking forward to putting up in February, where we'll have a place for you to reach out to us if you'd like.
Yeah,
and if there's any topics that you think you'd like to hear us go on about.
Yes.
Or to hear our perspective. So look forward to that. And once we get that posted or put up, Sherry's got to help me with the language here, because
once we get that up and running, we will tell you guys the link and you could check us out.
Thank you. You said that so well, Sherry.
You're welcome.
You would think you did this for a living or something. All right. Well, you all have a great rest of your day, and thanks again for listening.
Thank you for tuning in. Remember that you are bigger than anything that you're going through or anything that is happening around you.